As a quick reminder for those that may have forgotten, who should have a contract for their service?
Everybody. Everybody needs a contract for their service. Yeah. End of story. And I'll tell you what, honestly, the obviousness of it is...
A lot of industries are undervalued in the fact that people always look at the simplest job within that and go, oh, it's really easy to get into this. Yes, on the very bottom end, it is very easy to get into almost any business.
Right.
When you're talking about moving up into the middle and top area of those types of businesses, it's a totally different animal.
What is the best way to grow your email list or get users? What's up, buddy? How you been?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, still fighting.
Still fighting whatever's going on in your sinus headache, your sinus...
Well, yeah, and then the doc prescribed me antibiotics, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw them, I'm like, these are useless. So now I've been taking them for 6 days. So I called the doctor today and I'm like, hey, these antibiotics that you prescribed, just like last time, didn't work. Well, we think you need a new appointment.
Oh.
You can't just look at the mistake
you know what
you
the
made.
problem is.
Yeah. Like, so now I have to get on a virtual appointment later today just to tell people, just to have the conversation with them and say, hey, these antibiotics don't work just like last time. Can I please get the right antibiotics?
Right.
Just like last time. Like, it drives me nuts.
Hey, it happens. You know, it's a shame, but. All right. Well, for those of you watching on TikTok, this is Start It or Scrap It. This is the podcast where we take your questions about running a business, starting a business, anything really business related, scaling a business, really any business related questions. And we try to answer those questions live on TikTok. Yep. And when we're not answering TikTok questions, we are on Reddit looking for people that have business-related questions as well and trying to get them some advice. Hold the microphone a little closer.
What, to you?
Ethan said he asked you hold the microphone a little closer to your face.
Oh, he's probably talking about this one.
No, he's talking about that one.
That one?
Yeah, he said he's having trouble with...
my audio?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I don't know. Yeah, much better indeed. So anyway, if you're on TikTok and you're watching, please feel free to drop us a question, comment in the comments area, and we'd love to take your question live on the podcast today. So
I got something interesting for you.
Oh, so do I, but go ahead. No, you first.
I don't know if I can bring this up, but I'm going to anyway.
Okay.
So a friend of ours got a final bill from someone.
Okay.
That he had apparently signed a service contract with, despite telling them, you know, I don't have money to pay you. I won't have money to pay you. Mm-hmm. And the person just said, oh, we'll just accumulate it. And then as you start making money, you can pay it off.
Oh, it's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible, terrible idea, right?
Terrible idea for our friend. Go ahead.
And then he finally gets something that says final bill, which to me means that you've terminated the contract on your end.
Okay.
Right? Like if I send you a final bill.
It could be.
Final invoice. Only to find out that after getting that, the person is still accessing personal information for the business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right? And I was like, okay, so if the final bill means you terminated my service.
Meaning you're not doing anything else for me.
Correct.
Right.
Why are you logging into personal business accounts after the fact?
Okay.
Like, is that even allowed?
Well, just because it says final bill doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the contract. It's a good indicator that it's the end of the contract,
right.
But it doesn't necessarily mean the contract is canceled. Doesn't necessarily mean that the person is no longer responsible or liable for the remainder of the contract. So, yeah, that's something that would have to be argued in court or through a mediator or something.
It's just an interesting scenario.
Yeah,
right? Like
it's at the end of the day, okay. So again, it also depends on how the contract is written, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, in contract law, what we say is we have what are called the four corners of the document, right? It's the paper that it's written on, essentially.
Yep.
And most contracts, if they're written properly, will have what's called an integration clause. Okay. And an integration clause says nothing that's said or spoken outside of the words written in this contract will come into the contract. Okay. And that goes for future stuff as well. If it's not written to the contract, especially if the contract says all amendments must be in writing and signed by both parties, then that means that if the contract says, and I'm just going to make these dates up, the contract ends on December 31st, 2025, right? It doesn't matter if I send you something that says final bill or final notice or, hey, we're stopping the contract. The contract ends on December 31st, 2025. Unless we both agree to something in writing.
Okay.
Now, I haven't seen this contract, so I don't know, but I'm going to assume it says something like that.
And that's another thing, right? Is how many times do you run into a business owner that signed a contract and doesn't have a copy of the contract they signed?
All the time.
I'm like,
I don't understand that either.
I don't get it. Like, why would you not keep a copy of whatever you signed?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like,
why bother signing it if you're not going to keep a copy? Hey, I signed it. Great. Where's it at? I don't know.
It's interesting because, like, in my industry or in my business specifically, we don't send you a contract per se. We send you a terms of service.
Yep.
Right? So on the bottom of your invoice, there's a little box that you have to check box that says, I agree to the terms of service.
Sure.
Right? And they're always available online. We have a link to it. We send the customers a link to it. They can click on it. They can read it. They can chat GPT it, like do whatever you want. But we always make it available to the client. Right? It's a little bit harder when it's a contract because you can't put a signed document up. But if it's like a boilerplate that you have with every client, why not put it on your website so a client can access it at any time?
So that doesn't that doesn't necessarily create a binding contract when you do it that way. The binding it has to be something where there's something where people are signing a document that integrates that whatever on your website or says that you agree to the terms and services that will be at the bottom of each invoice or something like that. Just sending someone an invoice with terms and services does not necessarily create a binding contract on those terms and services.
What if they have to check box that they acknowledge it or agree with them?
It doesn't necessarily. Again, it has to be signed.
Physically signed.
I mean, how do I know you? How do I know that your receptionist or secretary or whatever didn't check that box, or assistant or whatever didn't check that box, or your accountant or whatever?
Wouldn't she still be responsible for? If she can check that box, that means she has the ability to approve it.
Not necessarily. So now we're into agency, right? So in agency, it's where one person acts as an agent for somebody else.
Yeah.
But if you didn't give that person the authority to be your agent, right, it might not necessarily apply. It also depends on what the other side assumes. That they think that the agent applies, that the person was an agent of your company, then it might. There's a lot of rules when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I would say just having a checkbox doesn't necessarily give you legally binding agreement.
Okay.
Signatures give you a legally binding agreement. Actions give you a legally binding agreement.
That's interesting though, because like how many big corporations? Like I can tell you, I signed my Verizon contract without any signatures. It was just checkboxes, right? Same thing with a lot of stuff that you order online, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I just ordered one of those like prepay or like cheap cell numbers because we wanted to go back to having like a home phone,
right?
which is a cell phone that stays at home. And nowhere in that entire process did I have to sign anything, right? Because like they could, I guess, just terminate my service at any given point, right? Like, so it's kind of the same for me. Is I can terminate the service for all my clients pretty much at any time because we don't do long-term contracts,
right?
Which is why we do terms of service.
There is also the argument in the law, and again, depending on every circumstance is different, of course, but there is the argument in the law where if someone presents you with something and you pay for it or you tell them to go ahead, right? That could be considered a legally binding contract as well. You've taken an action in furtherance of whatever the offer was, right? Because contracts are real simple. Offer, acceptance, and consideration. Those are the three elements of a contract, right?
Yep.
And arguably the fourth one is furtherance, right? You're doing something in furtherance of the contract, but it's really arguments. It's offer, acceptance, and consideration. So you make me an offer. I accept the offer verbally, written, or my actions say accept the offer. So, for example, you say to me you want to paint my house, right?
Okay.
And I go to the store and I buy a bunch of paint and I give it to you, right? I might not have said, Gummi, go paint my house, but my actions indicate that I want you to paint the house, right? And then consideration is how much money is supposed to be paid for this or something like that.
Right.
If you never told me in the beginning, there's an argument there. But if you did say I'll paint your house for $1,000, and then I go and get the paint and give it to you, even though I never actually said, Gummi, go paint my house, I've taken action to have you paint my house. And then the consideration is $1,000, right?
Okay.
So that's the big part of the contract, and what we're discussing here is the acceptance part. Did you actually accept it? Right.
Right.
I paid you the money. So someone has the bottom of an invoice. You're agreeing to these terms and services, and I return and pay you the money. That's not necessarily acceptance. There's no guarantee that I saw those terms and services and I'm agreeing to those terms and services. I'm paying you for the services you already rendered me. In fact, there's a better argument there, I would think, that...
Well, so like the way our system works is you cannot pay until you've acknowledged that you read the terms of service.
Okay. Is this an online thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an online, it's a checkbox. Okay, I'm thinking of a paper invoice.
No.
Okay, so it's an online checkbox. Okay, and it's sent to your email address, right?
Yep.
So no one else really could have gotten it but you. That's what's called click wrap. So click wrap is, yes, that is generally accepted. Okay. There's some arguments that it wouldn't, but generally in contract law, click wrap is accepted. It's like when you are bound by the terms and service when you open up software for the first time. I agree to the terms and services.
When I go to the DMV website, I certify that I am who I say I am.
Right.
Right. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Right. So yes, click wrap is generally accepted in contract law. Again, some nuances, some specifics are a little different here and there, but yes, that's generally correct. So just make sure that the acceptance part is very, very clear.
So just as a quick reminder for those that may have forgotten, who should have a contract for their service?
Everybody. I can't say that enough. Everybody needs a contract for their service. Yeah. End of story. And I'll tell you what, honestly, the obviousness of it is, well, if they don't pay, I have nothing to fall back on. Well, you kind of do, right? Because you did a service, right? There's what's called quantum merit. There's a whole bunch of different things in there, but you did a service, so you're entitled to that money, right? But the real reason why you want to have a contract is because various things. Well, what happens if the person doesn't pay? What happens if you perform the service but they say you didn't do a good job?
Right.
What if you're in one state and they're in another and you don't have a contract? What state do you sue in, right? What happens if they only pay a portion of it? Is there an interest rate associated? Can you get attorney's fees if you have to sue them? There are a variety of things that you really want to take into consideration that have to be in written format. So, for example, in Pennsylvania, and actually most states, but in Pennsylvania, you cannot, and no judge will give this to you as far as I know, you cannot get attorney's fees for suing somebody unless it's in a written contract. So you and I have an agreement for I don't care, $100,000 for X, doesn't matter what X is, but it's a verbal contract, right?
Yep.
And I don't perform my duties, or you don't pay me the $100,000, right? Now I want to sue you. Well, it's going to cost me $15,000-$20,000 in attorney's fees to sue you.
Right.
I don't get to claim that against you because there's no written contract indicating it. Unless it's written in a contract and signed by you, I cannot sue you for attorney's fees. It'll be thrown out immediately.
So you would be responsible for those fees?
I would have to pay those fees myself. Okay. So I got to pay $20,000 to sue you. And this is what happens a lot with people that don't have contracts: is their deal is only worth $10,000, $12,000, right? Well, actually, let's say 15 because you want to get above the small claims court level.
Right.
So let's say it's $15,000. And then you want to take the person to court. It's going to cost you that much in attorney's fees. So people, a lot of times, they just walk away because it's going to cost them that much or more in attorney's fees to sue the person.
It's funny because, like, I talk to small business owners all the time, and they're like, "Well, I've never needed a contract," and I'm like, "Yeah, the thing is, you don't need a contract
until you need a contract. Exactly.
Right? Like, that's the whole thing." But
anybody out there listening, Oh, hi, Denise from Texas. Hello. Anybody out there listening? Yes, if you have a product or a service that you're selling, especially a service that you're offering somebody, you absolutely need a contract. And then depending on the service, sometimes there's legal requirements to having a contract. So for example, in Pennsylvania, if you're a home improvement contractor and you go into somebody's home and you're going to do work there and you're charging more than $500, you must have a contract. There are significant penalties if you do not have a contract, to the point where I don't care if you did $150,000 of work. If you don't have a written contract that follows the rules of the Home Improvement Contractors Act, you might not be able to collect a dime of that, believe it or not. In fact, in some cases, depending, you may wind up owing the homeowner money, even though you did $150,000 in work. So you have to be really, really careful with that. Best thing to do, of course, would be to talk to an attorney, see what rules apply to you in your state. Right. So, but I highly suggest always get a contract. We really should do a whole show on just contracts one time.
Still can get sued for unjust enrichment in that circumstance.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. You can get sued for unjust enrichment, of course. But the problem is, and I'm assuming that we're talking about the home improvement contractor stuff. Yes, you can sue for unjust enrichment, but the problem is the homeowner can countersue you and say that you had all these problems and made all these mistakes and blah 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 blah. Well, the problem with, in Pennsylvania especially, the Home Improvement Contractors Act is that it's part of the Consumer Protection Act, and the Consumer Protection Act allows the homeowner to recover triple damages, so what we call treble damages, which is triple, so 3 times the damages, and attorney's fees without a written contract.
So you could be on the hook for $500,000.
Exactly. So yeah, I might get my $150,000 for unjust enrichment, but I'm going to wind up owing the homeowner $300,000 for attorney's fees and defects that the homeowner just happens to find. And if you lose that case, so let's say you win your $150,000, but the judge is like, but you also caused this damage, and they have their attorney's fees because you didn't have a written contract, you're going to wind up owing them. So you have to be really careful. Yes, unjust enrichment's great.
All over a few $100 contract.
All over a few $100 contract, right? That you could have had an attorney write once, and you use it all the time for various clients. So anyway, anyone out there listening, get a contract. Get a contract.
Yep.
All right. I wanted to talk about something today too.
Okay.
All right. So a friend of mine contacted me last night, and she's like, she's like, I run these. She's in a position of authority at her company. She's not another person's direct boss, but she runs these meetings on a regular basis. And this one person continuously shows up late to the meeting. Like, we're talking 20, 30 minutes late to the meeting, right? Okay. Comes in, sometimes on the phone, right? Talking on the phone while the meeting is going on, or just sits there on their phone the whole time like this, while the meeting is going on, completely disrespectful. And she says to me, she's like, what do I do about that? And now it's not her direct report, so she can't write her up or fire her. Right. But I'm actually, before I tell you what I said, I'm curious how you would handle that situation. Again, you're working somewhere else. It's not your company. You're working somewhere, but this applies if you have your own company too. So you're working somewhere else. Someone is just being completely disrespectful to you, even though you have authority over the meetings and such that you're running. How do you handle that?
I would ask the person not to show up anymore.
Okay.
Or talk to them directly about how it's disrespectful.
When they tell you too bad,
then stop showing up at these meetings.
Nah, I want to go to the meetings. I'll be there. My boss told me I have to show up.
Well, then I talk to your boss. That's how the chain of command works.
It kind of does, right?
Right? I wouldn't put up with that.
So I said something somewhere. So the way I approach it is, and this goes for if you're a business owner and you have employees and you ever have to deal with your employees, right? One thing you have to keep in mind is the conversation you have with this person cannot be emotional. Right. It has to be a stoic, matter of fact, here's what's going on response, right? Because a lot of people don't realize that, and they'll, and sometimes they want to be friendly about it. Hey, we're having these meetings. We really want you to be a part of the team.
This is not one of those.
That is not one of those times.
I feel like no,
exactly. It is because the fact that they're being disrespectful tells you everything you need to know. It's not like they came in 5 minutes
not
late.
only to that person, but to everyone in the meeting.
Everyone in there.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so when you approach that person, it has to be from a matter-of-fact position. It is, here's what's going on. Here's what I expect of you. No, I'm sorry. Here's what's going on. Here's the resolution I would like to put in place, and here's what I expect of you going forward. Mm-hmm. And if the person's not responsive to that, then yes, you have to go to the next level and speak with their direct manager. And now you also want to get the manager's buy-in too. You want the manager you want to go to the manager and say, here's what's happening with this person. I'm going to have a conversation with them. I'm going to say this, that, or the other, but I'd like to know that you agree and you have my back if, this person decides to tell me to go pound sand or something like that.
Right.
And, that's an unfortunate reality that will happen. Now, even as a business owner, you think, well, I'm the business owner. My employees, of course, would never do that. Yeah, they will. They absolutely will.
It can happen.
Yeah, you'll have employees who feel like they're invulnerable and they can do whatever they want at the office, and they have to go immediately. You have to let go of those people. I don't care how good they are. You have to let go of them immediately, because that attitude will spread. It will spread quickly throughout the rest of your staff.
Oh yeah, like wildfire.
Absolutely,
right,
like wildfire.
It's crazy how fast it happens.
Yeah. So when one employee sees another employee routinely coming in late, not paying attention, not really caring, not being disrespectful, it's just a matter of time before all the other employees start doing it too.
We had someone that I brought in and I hired personally that demoralized the company in 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
7 weeks. She managed to rapidly change how our culture worked.
The entire culture.
Yep.
Wow. One person can do that.
In 7 weeks. And it took us probably 2 to 3 months to undo it again.
Wow. Imagine what that cost. Mm-hmm. Imagine the cost factor on that. Seriously. You have demotivated employees.
Yep.
You have to go around cleaning up the culture.
Yep.
That's your time and effort and money, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot.
It's huge.
Yeah.
The problem is it happened ever so gently, even though it was a rapid period of time. And I didn't even notice it till like 5 weeks in. And then I had to start looking at why is this changing? Why are employees talking to each other differently? Why are they all of a sudden complaining about each other instead of helping each other out like we were doing a few weeks ago? What happened? And I started digging and I found out that was the person that was the root of it.
Yeah.
She just had a totally different mindset than everybody else in the business.
And many times you can go back and you can find it's one person who's causing these problems.
Yes.
And you must be prepared to let go of that person.
Oh, yeah. Immediately.
I know you will.
yeah. It's whatever their productivity is, it's irrelevant because they are demoralizing and cutting back on the productivity on everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to go.
So don't be afraid to fire people if you have to.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be afraid.
No.
Right? Again, I say this every once in a while. Gary Vaynerchuk says it very, very, very well. Yeah. I love it. I love this line. You don't have to be good at hiring, but you must be good at firing. Mm-hmm. And it's a reality.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
All right. So, people on TikTok, if you have questions or comments, please feel free to share them. Love to answer your questions on the podcast today. Otherwise, we are going to go to Reddit, and we are in the Entrepreneur subreddit, where Invoiced 2020 says, I went back to 9 to 5 and couldn't hold a job for long. Oh, I know that feeling. If you want to help us grow our podcast to get the word out to other business owners that are looking for advice like this, hit that subscribe button. The more people that subscribe, the more people will see our video and the more information we can get out to other people. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and share with your friends as well.
It's funny. I was watching someone say, as an entrepreneur, you daydream about going back to a 9 to 5.
Sometimes
I daydream working at Target where I don't have to think or do anything.
Yeah, but you know what? You do it.
Responsibility and
you do it, and and very quickly you're gonna be like, this isn't for me.
This isn't for me.
This isn't
Correct.
for me.
Yeah.
In fact, I was watching Mad Men the other day, or I was watching clips of Mad Men. What?
Once a week, I probably think about just going back to doing sales.
Yeah.
Right. I could make so much money if I just went back and got a commission sales job somewhere.
Yeah.
And I can't get myself to do it. I'm like,
you'll hate it.
Yes.
You'll hate it.
Because then I have to answer to someone else. Like there's all these other things that come with it. But like, there's definitely days where I was like, it would be nice just, to clock in at 9 and leave at 5.
Yeah.
And then just get my paycheck once a month or a couple of weeks.
You wouldn't know what to do with your extra time.
I know.
You'd be lost. And so in Mad Men, when Draper is they're in a meeting, and I always forget the character's name. It's one of the later characters, and he's also a creative guy, and he's like, I want out. I don't want to do this anymore. And Draper's like, you'll miss it. You'll hate it. You'll miss it, and you'll be begging to get back in. And he's absolutely right, because that's kind of how it is with entrepreneurship. It's like you have this. Even though it's a lot of work, right? And every entrepreneur is watching right now, or anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, you'll know it's a lot of work, right? A lot. It's a lot of stress on you. It's a lot of stress on the mind, the body, et cetera, even the family, all right? But the rewards are fantastic. It's not just the freedom. It's you're building something,
It's funny. Someone was telling me the other day, he's like, yeah, I cried, I laughed, I got depressed, I wanted to quit, I wanted to take a 9-to-5, I thought about shutting the business, then I decided I was going to keep the business going, and then I went to lunch.
Yeah, exactly, right. All those emotions inside of an hour or two, it's exactly right. So, anyway, Invoice 2020 says, it's been 18 months since I went back to a job after closing my business, which was a marketing agency, and I'm running into financial problems. I can't last long. In reality, I changed job 5 times in the span of time. Either I don't like the manager or how things are done or whatever the issue is. Going back to business, and this time around, I'll surround myself with like-minded business people who have been doing business for a while. Last time, I stayed in the comfort of my circle, and most of them are in corporate. In hindsight, I stayed in that mindset. Also, this time around, I will watch finances like a hawk and really know my numbers, cut the fat, and spend wisely. Just sharing my thoughts, as I don't have anyone to share this with. Yeah, and it's the middle part of what he says about having surrounded himself with people in like the corporate world.
Yes.
Then that's all you're going to be thinking about.
Totally different mindset.
Completely.
How we approach the day is totally different.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because yesterday I was playing golf with 2 guys that just recently started their business, meaning within the last year and a half, right?
Yep.
And then it was me and another guy that have both been in business, 15, 20 years plus.
Right.
And the questions they were asking and stuff, we were like, okay, this makes sense. You're going to take this business somewhere because you're already asking the right questions. You're already looking at the right things. You're already thinking about the right things, right? And one of them came out of working for another business, and the other guy came up through like the health field.
Yeah.
So neither one of them had really been exposed to what it takes to run a business, to generate revenue, how to expense things. Like I asked one of them, like, how much is in your corporate bank account right now? He's like, I don't know.
No clue.
Like, can you give me a ballpark number? And he's like,
you really need to know that.
I'm not sure, right? And then I'm like, well, then how do you know you could afford to buy the $100 Oakley sunglasses you just bought at the pro shop? Like, can you? He's like, well, I did it. Like, okay. But like, knowing your numbers is really the key. You have to be aware of where your money is going and where your money is coming from. Right?
Yeah. So, some of the best entrepreneurs, some of the people that have like really made it well, and I've heard many people talk on this, say, I will wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is check my balances. And you ask me at any time during the day how much money is in my account, and I will tell you to the penny how much is there. Because if I don't know that, I can't run my business.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's true, especially early on.
Yeah.
Once you get further along and things are just kind of, approximately what's in the account. Right. Like any given, like I know at the beginning of the month, the first week of the month, we have on average 25% more money in our account than we do the last week of the month. Right. But it's because I have a bunch of clients that get all their billing the 25th of the previous month. So we get a bunch of checks in that first week, right? So we know the balance is going to be higher that first week. So yeah, it kind of fluctuates, but we always have like very similar amount because we float through.
Yep.
Can I tell you to the penny what's in our accounts right now? No.
No, but you have a good estimate.
But I can tell you what our expenses are almost to the penny. I can tell you what my income is almost to the penny. Right. Because the big thing for me has always been not just knowing your expenses and your income, but you have to be acutely aware of your margins.
Right.
Because you can be invoicing a ton of stuff. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Back when we had the big print shop, we took on a contract because on paper it looked really good. Mm-hmm. And we were like billing this company tens of thousands of dollars every month. And then one month I was like, why aren't we making more money after we took this contract on? Like my net margin should have gone up at least a couple of percent, but it's gone down a couple of percent. Huh. And I was trying to figure it out. And then I sat down and I reviewed the contract that my sales guy had signed, only to find out that the stuff we were printing was enough to cover the labor, the paper, and the inks, right? What it did not cover was the equipment maintenance. So we were basically busy while losing a percent of every, so for every $1,000 that I billed them, I was losing $10.
Wow.
Right? And we're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
And you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see that unless you're paying close attention.
Correct.
Next thing you know, you're doing a big job and you're losing $5,000 on it. It doesn't make sense. So so the person here, Invoice 2020 says, the next time I'm going to surround myself with like-minded people, which is what you need to do. You need to surround yourself with people who either are experienced in the entrepreneur world or interested in it, quite frankly. Because so one of my really, really close friends is he works for a major corporation. I'm not going to say who, but he works for a major corporation in the Philadelphia area, and we have conversations about business all the time, and it's just such different philosophies. Mm-hmm. Like I actually asked him the other day. I said, "I want you." Now I pulled like an Office Space quote, right? I was like, "I want you to be honest. In a given week, how much actual work are you getting? Like, how much stuff are you getting done where you would consider it progress?" Mm-hmm. And he kind of thinks about it, and he's like, "Honestly, maybe 3 or 4 hours."
Right.
Because the rest of the time he's preparing for meetings or is in meetings. He's like, they had a meeting. This is not joking. They had a meeting, he was telling me about a few weeks ago, about the types of slides and the colors on the slides for their PowerPoint presentations during future meetings.
There was a meeting on the color of PowerPoint slides.
Correct. They had an hour-long meeting to discuss, and this is with like 5 or 6 people.
But do you know what? Honestly, my wife works for a major corporation, right? And she works from home a couple of days a week. Yeah. So every once in a while, I'll walk by the home office, right? Because like our restroom is right across from her home office. Yeah. So like I'll be going to the bathroom, whatever, and you kind of overhear kind of generally what's being talked about.
Right.
And half the time I'm like, who's gaining anything from this meeting?
Right.
Like it doesn't sound like anybody's doing or talking about anything productive at this point.
There's nothing productive most of the time.
Right? Like it's weird, the need for all these meetings.
Again, it's the corporate world. I lived in it very, very, very for a very short period of time, so I never really understood it. But to them, what we do is out of control. Yep. It's chaos. It's anarchy. We did
weekly meetings. I've talked about this before. We used to do weekly meetings. Now we do team meetings between 2 or 3 people. And our big meetings that we had cut down to once a month, we're now down to being able to do those once a quarter.
Right.
And things are running better than ever. Right? Like we're getting more done with less interference and it's just, I don't get this whole have to meet all the time over everything.
Right. So anyways. All right, Invoice 2020, we feel your pain, man. We've all been there. I know I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now and people that will see the podcast later that feel the same way. Once you go down that road of entrepreneurship, and even if it's mildly successful, even for a period of time, it's tough to go back.
And
it really is.
With this, go hang out with people that are not only like-minded. Find someone that's been in business 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and make friends with them.
Right.
Because the challenges in 2 years are not the same as the challenges in 5 years, nor in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. And you can get valuable insight from anybody that's been in business for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. You can get it from startups too, but generally, if you make it past the 2-year hump, you've learned something along the way. You're doing something right.
Right.
But.
All right. So good luck to you. Once again, everyone on TikTok, if you would like to have your question answered on the podcast today, please put it into the comments, and we'd love to hear it and get you some answers. Okay. Let's see here.
What? You skip pressure washing?
You want to talk about pressure washing? I mean, we talk about it actually every once in a while. Why not? All right, this is from Yo Boy Palpatine. Oh, Yo Boy Palpatine. I totally read that wrong. The question is, why has pressure washing become a joke? I don't know that it has, but let's see. Sometimes I will see on here and other forums people joking about pressure washing and how it's a good business to start. But why is it a joke? I know a few people who do pressure washing and making good money. Oh, I see what you're saying. But I really just don't get it. I've even looked into these past couple of years. I actually find it very satisfying to see stuff get pressure washed, even when washing my own stuff. What's the joke? Some of the comments are so much competition, not as bad as landscaping, but it's rough. Low barrier to entry equals high competition. But I don't think it's a joke at all.
No.
I mean, again, we know a couple of people who do pressure washing, and it can be quite lucrative. You can make a good business out of that very quickly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, there are so many, because here's the thing for me is people look at pressure washing and all they think about is someone pressure washing your patio or your home, right?
Yep.
Every car wash needs a pressure washer because they have tanks.
Yep.
I have a friend of mine. That does pressure washing, but he only does it for Pico, and he only washes the. They go out and clean the. The power stations?
Sure, yeah. There's power distribution, yeah.
So that's the only thing he power washes.
Ooh, I'd be careful with that. Yeah, be real careful with that.
He makes a boat ton of money doing it, right? So Pico actually tried taking it back from him.
Right.
They were like, hey, we think we're going to cancel our contract.
Yeah, probably cost them more.
We're going to have our own people do it. And he's like, they called me 5 weeks later and said, our people don't want to do it.
Who would want to do that?
Right.
That's scary.
But it's such a unique type business, that there are so many things that get pressure washed that people don't have any idea, right? Like Rolling Suds, which is right up the street from you.
Yep.
Hugely successful franchise that does power washing. Right. And then you look at it and go, okay, how many businesses need it? Right. Like how often are things pressure washed from a business perspective?
Right.
A ton. Right. Like that's the thing that people tend to forget is it's high competition. Yeah. But it's everywhere. Right. Like there are so many people that need it.
Yep.
There is so much business out there for it that, it's a low cost of entry. But it's a high cost of entry if you want to get into the serious stuff.
Right.
Right? Like, I know a power washer that actually has a bucket truck.
Yeah, for higher buildings or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for higher buildings, for water towers, for all kinds of stuff. Like, yes.
You don't have to do that yet.
Correct. But yes, to go power wash someone's patio, it's not a high cost of entry.
Right.
To go power wash a water tower.
Yeah.
Right.
You better have a bucket truck for that.
Yeah. So like
that are really long legs.
It's interesting when people look at all these businesses. Like we talk about landscaping all the time, right? Like why is it such a low cost of entry? Well, because if you just want to get into the grass cutting, it's literally the cost of a lawnmower and something to transport the lawnmower.
Right.
Right. If you want to get into hardscaping, no, now all of a sudden
There's a lot more involved.
There's a lot more involved. Like now you need bigger trucks. Now you may need bobcats. Now you may need there's all this stuff that comes with it. So it's really, a lot of industries are undervalued in the fact that people always look at the simplest job within that and go, oh, it's really easy to get into this. Yes, on the very bottom end, it is very easy to get into almost any business.
Right.
When you're talking about moving up into the middle and top area of those types of businesses, it's a totally different, different animal.
So, your boy Palpatine, I don't know why people think it's a joke. I guess because so many people talk about it, maybe it's just become an online joke or something, but it's not. It's a good business to get into. Yeah. There's always going to be the need for power washing. Always. In fact, it's becoming more and more popular. I don't see it going away anytime soon. So, if that's something you're looking into, go for it. In fact, let us know if you're going into it because we can give you lots and lots of advice on that one. So, all right. So best of luck to you. We do have a question from TikTok. This is from Reagan, who says, how do I differentiate my online jewelry business, marketing from the usual stuff and the AI randomness? Hey, Gummi, that's a you question. Go.
So with a lot of these types of things, yes, there is a lot of slop. There is a lot of, AI is not hugely predominant yet, but it's definitely there. The big thing for me is you have to come through, get a face behind the business, whether it's your face or someone you hire or influencers or someone. Get real authentic faces behind the business. And I just had this conversation with someone that does supplements, right? Mm-hmm. They had been trying to run ads that were all about the supplements. And I'm like, stop it. Like they were spending, for every dollar they were spending, they were selling 80 cents worth.
Okay.
Right. So basically they were losing money on selling through ads.
Right.
So I told him, stop making it about the product and start making it about people. Right. Be you. Explain to people, for example, why did you develop this product? Right. Like you didn't just randomly go, oh, I think I need a CMOS thing, right? Because CMOS is cool, right? No, it had to do with why specifically CMOS? Like what were the benefits of the CMOS? At what point did you go, we need this CMOS to help with X, Y, and Z, right? And same thing, the human side of the business.
You're right over there.
Yeah. I didn't realize until I talked to him that they donate something like 20% of all their net profits to women's shelters.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? You do what? And that's like a footnote on their website.
Oh, no, that needs to be front and center. That needs to be like front and center on their site.
No, but once again, it's because it was something that was genuinely important to them, right? And he's like, well, I don't need to use it as a marketing or sales tools. He's like, we kind of buried it because I don't want that to be the reason people buy from us.
Right.
And I'm like, I get it, but there are people that currently buy supplements that would love if a portion of what they bought were being donated to something, right? Mm-hmm. Once again, it's authentic with who he is.
Sure.
Explaining to you how the products work is authentic to who he is. Telling people that they should be taking supplements is not authentic to who he is.
Right.
Pushing the supplements is not who he is. It's not authentic.
But there are people out there that
absolutely
are like it's like absolutely. Wow, that person telling me. But yeah, you're right. I should take those supplements.
But that's part of why all the advertising and the stuff that he did wasn't working, in my opinion. Is because it was missing the authenticity behind the actual company and the products that they do and why they do them.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that.
So even with like jewelry, it doesn't have to be just jewelry. There can be something behind it. There can be some kind of authenticity and deliberate things that they do to promote the brand or the products. And the more I see of this type of stuff, the more I'm realizing that authenticity is really hard to fake.
Sure.
Right. And there's a great guy on TikTok called Brand Boss HQ.
Okay.
If people haven't looked him up, phenomenal.
Brand Boss HQ. Okay.
Yep. he's been in the marketing and branding industry for decades, like won awards, highly respected. And if he just happens to pop across your profile as a business owner, it's definitely worthwhile giving him a follow and kind of listening to some of the stuff he says. Because as much as he has like super advanced knowledge on a lot of this stuff, he's really good at breaking it down into simple terms and getting people to understand like what is building a brand? What is it about? How do you do it? Right? What's the difference between product A and product B? Right? What's the difference between the brand recognition? Because you could have the same exact product, right? We see this all the time. There's a bunch of products on Amazon.
Yeah.
For example,
you can't tell one from the other.
Correct. Yeah. The difference is the brand.
Yeah.
Right. And you can talk about something as simple as shoes.
Right.
Right. Is there that much of a difference between most shoes?
There can be.
There can be, right? But when you're looking for running shoes, why do you choose Nike over Hoka, over Adidas, over Pumas? Like, what is it? Because they're all engineered the crap out of, right? Like, they're all great running shoes.
Right.
But why do you decide to buy that specific
a lot of times
shoe?
It's brand. Yeah.
A lot of times it's brand recognition.
A lot of times it's brand recognition. So, all right. So, I mean, Reagan, it's as far as online jewelry goes, it's a tough one. You're right. I mean, way back in the day, I'm aging myself here, but way back in the day when the internet really started first taking off, for some reason, jewelry was one of the things that was everywhere already. Right from the beginning.
Yeah, I have a customer that used to be they were an importer for jewelry, right? What do they call it? Not like the authentic stuff, but like costume jewelry almost.
Oh, yeah, costume jewelry, yep.
And they were doing a ton.
Yeah.
And then as the internet evolved further and fewer and fewer retailers carried it, their business just started contracting and contracting and contracting.
Yeah.
Because now they were all of a sudden competing
against everybody.
Not everybody.
No?
No. Even some of their vendors were now selling directly online.
So cheaper.
Through Amazon, through Shein, through Temu, through a lot of these, which was their marketplace, right? So now all of a sudden, how are you going to compete with a guy that's actually selling it to you?
Yeah.
Because their cost is always going to be lower than yours.
So then what do you recommend to Reagan?
You got to build a brand around you or around the
What do you
jewelry.
mean you? Who's you?
Reagan.
Okay, the person.
The person.
Not the company.
No.
The person.
With this type of stuff where you have a super saturated market and there's hardly any differentiation between, like, is there a huge differentiation between watches? In the $10 to $50 category?
No.
Almost none.
No.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter if you get a Timex or something out of Walmart or Casio. It doesn't matter, right? Once you get into the $100 to $500 range or $100 to $300, now all of a sudden you start seeing a little bit more differentiation.
Yep.
You start seeing a lot more brand names. Mm-hmm. Once you get over the $500 mark, now it's
there's a huge
different level of watches, right? Once you get over the $1,000 mark for watches, now you're really into subtle, noticeable quality of materials and all that stuff.
You're getting fewer and fewer brands, but more and more differentiation.
And you're getting, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Rolex is a better watch than, I don't know, Skagen, for example, right? Is it a better watch? Better for who?
Right, exactly.
Right? Like, I don't like my Rolex. I love my Skagen watch because it is super lightweight, it's super thin, and I actually enjoy wearing it more than my big, heavier watch. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't like big, heavy watches. So for me, I would rather take that over the Rolex.
Yeah. That's again, everyone's
now, if I want to show off,
everyone's different,
right? Like, guess what I'm wearing?
Right.
Right.
Oh,
like, so that's really what
it
comes.
Look at me.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like, but the thing is,
would you like to know what time it is?
you don't even have to do that when you're wearing some. People just automatically,
of course,
either you know what it is or you don't.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of what you got to do with any business, especially an online business, is you have to build something around the product. It can't just be a watch.
Right.
Right. That's.
So Reagan, I hope we got you some good info there. Feel free to leave another comment if you have more additional questions, or anybody else out there on TikTok if you have questions. Feel free to post them into the comments, and we'd love to answer your question. All right, so back to Reddit. This is from Floor General 2029, who says, "Is a fiery personality a good trait in entrepreneurship? I'm currently starting a new venture by trying to take a small mining company public, and I'll be the CEO." Ooh, mining company. Oh. "I was told that I always had a fiery personality and am very passionate when I speak. My mind is also one of those where I go 100 miles per hour and always always conjuring up ideas left and right. I've gotten some flack from other business partners that I tend to be too impatient, which I see as a negative trait I'm trying to work on. I am trying to also be more calm, cool, and collected, and just try to let things go sometimes. In your eyes, is a fiery personality seen as a negative when leading a company, or do you think calmer, more quieter personalities work better?"
I don't know. We can ask Steve Jobs.
There's a variety of answers here.
Yeah.
First and foremost, if you're talking partnerships, yeah, I could see the fiery personality backfiring in a partnership, because your partners might not want something like that. They might not want to deal with a personality like that.
Yes.
But if you're on your own, you kind of need that. You need that, no pun intended, fire under your butt to get the company going at times. I'm not saying you need to be, relentless, or you need to be, disrespectful or anything like that to people, but having that go attitude really can help.
But so you have to remember, right? Like when you're the CEO, you're the captain, you're steering the ship. Mm-hmm. So if you're, like he says, I'm conjuring up ideas left and right and all this stuff, right? Like,
well, you have to be able to focus, of course.
So it's not necessarily is the fiery personality a bad thing. It is do you have the ability to still captain the ship while being all over the place? Right? Can you be running down into the hole to check whether, loads are properly secured because that popped into your head today?
Right.
Right. So I think it's a matter of, can you take that fiery personality and funnel it to the things that are the most important?
Can you focus?
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. Can you focus?
Because, a fiery personality can ultimately create more turmoil than problems it solves.
In some cases,
Correct.
Sure, absolutely. In other cases, let's say you're in a situation where, you have that personality, but you've learned to control it, kind of like he's saying he has learned to control it some, right? You build up your business. You now have people in places in your business where you don't have to worry about the minutiae on a day-to-day. Mm-hmm. Now you want that fiery personality to go out there and start new things, new adventures, and new ventures.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you need a combination of both.
Yeah.
You really do.
I like fiery personalities that have learned control. Yeah. Right. Like it's basically fire and control.
Yeah.
If you can master that, then yes, you can lead pretty much anyone to anything.
Yeah.
But it is very hard to do.
You can't be all over the place.
Correct.
You have to be able to look at something.
I am talking from experience.
Oh, we both are. We both are, believe me.
I used to be all over the place and think I had to fire up everybody, and like that was my job.
Yeah.
Until I realized that my job wasn't to fire people up, it was to lead people. And there's a very, very different mindset.
Oh, without question.
When you're leading people versus when you're just all gung-ho. And when I was by myself, it was just...
Let me see. Let me see if you agree with this statement, right?
Okay.
Employees, generally speaking, want to do a good job.
Yes.
You agree with that statement?
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously I do as well. And sometimes the fire them up actually is a detriment to that. Because now the employee doesn't know if they're doing a good job. Now they don't know, well, the boss came and said he wants me to do X, Y, and Z, and he wants me to do it in a better way. I want to do a good job, but I don't know if I am now. Now I don't know what to do. I can see that having a detrimental effect.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. Right?
Yeah.
Like it comes back to the conversation we had a few weeks ago is when you are a leader, you have to learn how to treat every employee.
Right.
You need to know which one need a fire under their butts and which ones need to be left alone.
Right.
Your job is people management, not business management only. But yeah.
All right. So Floor General 2029. Don't lose the fiery personality, but learn to control it. You will need that energy. You will absolutely need that energy in order to move forward. Having a million ideas is great. Just don't try to do them all at once.
Correct.
Pick and choose.
And don't chase shiny bubbles.
Don't chase shiny things.
Right? Like
do not chase shiny things.
If you get an idea, find someone you can bounce it off of that'll give you an immediate response.
Right.
Like that is one of the hardest things, for example, when you're a startup, is you often don't have anybody to bounce an idea off of. So you may think it's a great idea, and someone else could have told you in 5 seconds,
right,
you probably should not do this.
Exactly.
It's not really a great idea, right?
All right. We only have a few minutes left, man. Wow. These hours go fast these days. So if you're on TikTok, if you have a question, get it in now, because we only have a few minutes left in the show today. All right. This is from Zyv69 with an X, or XIV69, one or the other. What is the best way to grow your email list or get users? Hello, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm creating different products, info products and services, but my problem is I am not getting people to test it. Can you tell me what is the best way to build an email list to test my products, or how can I get users for free to test my offers/products? My social media channels are new, so they are not useful right now. I would really appreciate your suggestions. Gummy, how do you grow your list?
Honestly?
Organically.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, that's how you want to do it,
of
right?
Course.
But that doesn't happen as much as people think.
That takes a while.
Simple things you can do are like giveaways. They always work to get people to hand over their email addresses and stuff. More importantly in this conversation, the question becomes, who are you targeting and are they still using email?
Yeah.
Because I ran into someone yesterday while golfing, the cart girl.
What a shock.
The cart girl, actually. And we were talking about like social media and like cell phone use and stuff. And she goes, she's like, I don't really use my phone other than at night. I have a TikTok account that I've never posted to. And I just like watching the videos. But other than that, she's like, I don't really have a digital footprint. I'm like, do you email people? She's like, I have an email that I use for things that I have to sign up for. She's like, but I never check it, right?
Yeah.
So I think depending on who you're targeting, email lists may no longer be the way to go.
Okay.
Believe it or not, your social media presence has started mattering a lot more, and being able to send messages through your social media.
Yeah, I'll agree with that entirely.
Especially if you're targeting younger generations.
Right.
If you're targeting people 40 plus, grow your email list, use giveaways.
But okay, so let's say social media. Okay, so let's stick with social media. I know the answer. Again, we want to share this with people. How do you grow your social media audience? Again, let's pick a platform.
So each platform is slightly different.
Of course, right? That's what I said. Pick a platform.
I mean, the first thing is,
we're on TikTok. Let's talk about TikTok.
As obvious as it sounds, you have to make content.
Yeah.
And you have to make a lot of it. Like, people truly underappreciate or underestimate that if you are creating content for a business, the sheer volume of content you have to put out is crazy.
Yep.
Right. And I always remember when I was listening to, I think it was Alex Hermosi, right? And he was talking to a guy that was even bigger than him on social media at the time. And that guy goes, Alex was asking him like, hey, what am I doing wrong? So the guy pulls up and looks at his social media accounts and he's like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing all the right things. He's like, but for every one piece of content you're putting out, I'm putting 14.
Yeah.
How are you going to win? And that's all he needed to tell him, right? It was that epiphany of, yes, I'm doing all the right things. I'm just not doing them in enough volume.
Yeah. So whatever service this XIV is offering, whatever the service is or whatever the product is, you should be putting out multiple videos each day about why you need this service, why people use the service, what you can do with the service, what the product, how it was made, what the product's for, demo it. Exactly.
There's all kinds of stuff like what I learned along the way is you never run out of content.
Right.
Right? Because there's always something happening every day that could be content, right? And remember, content isn't advertising. Content is content. And I always ask people, before you make the content, did you ask yourself, would I watch this if someone else put it out, right? If the answer is no, chances are people aren't going to watch it, right? If it's something you would watch, that means it's entertaining or has value to you. So you need to put out more of that and less of content just for the sake of content. Does that make sense?
It does. Well, it does to me. Hopefully it makes sense to everybody else too.
And once again, what content you're putting out depends on the platform you're putting it on.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it is platform specific because some platforms, like TikTok, for example, it's obviously more video, right? Video talk.
Not only that, it's also what is in your content.
Right.
Right? How your content, like you can get away with TikTok specifically, you can get away with almost anything. Poorly edited videos, long pauses, there's all these things you can get away with. Good luck with that on Instagram.
Right.
Right? Like it just doesn't, or LinkedIn for that matter.
Right. It doesn't work the same.
It does not fly. Right.
So go research what each platform prefers.
Yes.
And you might have to make the same video 5 different times for 5 different platforms.
Correct.
Or edit it 5 different ways.
Yep. Or 5 different versions of it.
Or 5 different versions of it.
And what may be a great video on TikTok would be a great infographic for LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's really just making content for the specific platform that you're going after.
All right. Well, Gummi, as we were about to wrap up today, would you like to get to our non-sponsor?
What?
Yeah, I'm going to call it out today. Oh. You're not going to surprise me this time.
I'm not going to surprise you.
You're not surprising me
with this
time.
Wonderful Arnold Palmer.
What is that, Gummi?
So this is half iced tea and half lemonade from Arizona Iced Tea, which is one of my favorite beverages because I was cutting back on soda.
Yeah.
And I was at a golf outing and they had one of these cans in the cooler. So I was like, oh, I've never tried it. So I grabbed it and instantly became my new favorite drink.
Wow, that's great.
Like instantly.
And you really enjoy it, huh?
I prefer the diet version, but the light is always great.
Okay. So to answer anyone's question out there who's asking, no, Arizona is not a sponsor of this podcast, at least not yet, but Gummi is determined to get them to sponsor this show at some point.
Do you know, at this point, I'll take that they acknowledge us. How about that?
Just an acknowledgement, even if it's a cease and desist.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. With that said, we will not, unfortunately, have a show next week because I will be away.
Where are you going?
I am going on a cruise in the Mediterranean.
Nice.
Yeah. We're going from Greece to Barcelona.
You are going to be eating delicious food.
I'm going to be eating some of the greatest food in the world.
Yes.
I love Greek food.
Yeah.
I'm Armenian, so Armenians and Greeks share like the same palate.
That Mediterranean cuisine that is like floating in that, because that's like the southern part of Italy. Yeah. That's Greece. That's Spain.
Some of the best stuff in the world.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but we'll pick it back up in 2 weeks, though.
Sounds like a plan.
So, for those of you on TikTok, thank you for participating today. Great to talk to some of you, Reagan, and who did we hear from earlier? Oh, Denise. Hello, and everybody else on Reddit. Hopefully we answered your questions, and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Take care.